right. Happy Sunday. I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, the home of Afro Economics. Yes, indeed. That's the Afro Economics website behind you. You can click through to download the free Afro Economics app. You can get so much information. You can go straight to registering for events like this so that you can be on the webinar as we follow along, asking me questions and chatting to one another. You can also go into the podcast directly. You can sign up for membership directly. We have an entrepreneurship membership, and this Sunday afternoons are for entrepreneurs to get them hyped up for the Black Business Summit that we're going to have throughout the year in Baltimore, in DC, in New York, in Virginia. I'm ready to go. So let's make sure you check out the calendar for all the dates. It's right there. In Black History Month, we're having our first Black Business Summit for 2018. Already had it in 2019, and that's what really got me hyped about the blackbusinesssummit.com, that this in talking about business is important to us. I had a full house. So all members get in free. It is $500 for non-members. So make sure that you go ahead and get your membership set up so that you can get in complimentary. It's included. The members make it all possible, and I appreciate you. So let's get started on our Sunday afternoon discussion about how and why you would buy a business. Knocking my mic all over, getting excited. How do you buy a business from someone else? Why did I think about Disney? Well, I just, for the first time at my grown age, I went out on a date. No, that wasn't my first date, but I had a date last night and he took me to see Star Wars. Yep. Went to see Star Wars and I was like, this is the first Star Wars that I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, I was feeling like a kid. But me, I'm in there thinking about, what's the business behind this? And then I saw like one of the first credits in the movie was, this is based on characters created by George Lucas. It didn't say Lucas Films because what? Well, let me tell you, this is what happened. Look, this is a headline from 2012, October 2012. Disney buys Lucas Films for $4 billion. $4 billion. George Lucas was able to retire and spend the rest of his life with his Nubian queen, Melanie. Yes, indeed. So he definitely got Lucasfilms was bought out by Disney. Had to add in there that he is married to a sister. With the so this is he was 68 years old when that happened, but he said he would continue to serve as a creative consultant, which is probably why even this recent movie had George Lucas as based on his characters that he created. So, and then what was that? That was in the 70s or something. I don't know, but that is a long time ago. It says the Luke Skywalker and Han Solo are joining Mickey Mouse to be among Disney's roster of heroes. Isn't that something? $4 billion. But let me tell you how we did it. So they did what he agreed to do, and I want to look at it because I know it in my head, but he got 40 million shares. I don't want to see it. I'm looking at the paper because I want to see it in writing but I know this is true. The past, one of the pleasures, Disney CEO, one of the greatest entertainment companies of all time, one of the best branded, one of the most valuable. It is fantastic to have this opportunity to buy Lucasfilms. Lucas receives 40 million Disney shares from the deal. So even though he said, you got to pay me $4 billion, he actually said, you know what? I still want to be involved in this whole thing. So the guy from Disney that's talking, really, Lucas, by selling his company, is like among that guy's bosses now, because Lucas received 40 million shares. That made him he became the second largest non-institutional shareholder of Disney, behind a trust that was owned by Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. I didn't know that that they were, oh, you know why? Because of that other they have that other company. That's how Apple Steve Jobs got so in it, because they bought they bought some other things, Pixar in 2009, and the Steve Jobs owned a lot of the Pixar. He's was one of the founders or starters of Pixar, if I remember correctly, and that's why all this happened. But you see, what's happening is they're not just selling their companies, they're just allowing another company to, they're saying they're interested in a bigger picture. So what Lucas did was allow himself to retire and said, you can have this product, you can have this access to my characters, to all my work that I put into this, because you have a bigger staff, more resources, whatever his rationale is. So when you're thinking about buying a company, the main thing that Disney might have asked him was, what to your benefit, Mr. Lucas, what is your benefit of selling? Why do you want to sell? What do you see in the future for Star Wars by being acquired by Disney? What is the good in this? Especially if Lucas approached them, because it might not have been that Disney approached Lucas. Lucas might have said, hey, I'm 68. I got a new wife. I want to retire. I want to do some different things with my life now, because I'm going to tell you, as an entrepreneur, we're putting a lot into building our business. And there might be a point that as an entrepreneur that there's a business that you want to buy, and there's someone out there in the same business and they want to retire, and they'll consider allowing you to buy all their hard-earned effort. So a lot of people are able to say they've been in business for 100 years, but they really haven't been in business for 100 years. The business has been in business for 100 years. So that, and we have to really understand that just because the ad says that those aren't the same. They might not be the exact same owners. It may not even be the same family involved in it, or that family may have sold out their shares, the original, but that entity itself is still existing, and it's existing under that name, because a business, especially a corporation, is an entity of itself. It's not you. You started a corporation, or you're buying a corporation. You're taking over ownership of an entity that existed for 100 years already. So you might be a new business owner, and you don't want to just start a business from scratch like I did in 1995. You might want a business that dates back to 1995, but you will pay for everything that they put in. And then the challenge is for the business owner that's considering selling their business to you is valuing their business, because they put those 20 plus years into there and you want to buy into it. So my point here today is that as business owners, or as people that are interested in starting a business, what are some things that you should consider if you're thinking about buying a business or buying a franchise, or buying in or partnering up? Whatever it is, there's some key things that we need to think about, just as Disney did with the acquisition of Lucasfilms, which created Star Wars. So you have to first think about, what do you want? As I said, you might want to start a business, but you don't want to start a brand new one. Like, there's some people who don't want a puppy dog. They want a dog, but they don't want a puppy. So if you don't want a business that's a puppy with all of the mess that goes with having a little baby business, then you might want to have a grown business, but it's going to cost you more to have that grown business. And it's going to cost you also on the experience. So hopefully, do you have the experience in order to buy a business that's grown? Do you know that business enough to do that? Or if you buy that business, will the people that have experience, will they stay with you? with the owner? Will that owner be willing to continue to help you keep that business together or continue to build the business? Like George Lucas said to Disney, I'll continue to help you from a creative side, but ultimately I want to be in retirement. So think about, what do you want and why are you considering selling or considering buying another business? Research all of the businesses that are available in the area that you're thinking about. Like Disney might have said, like, hey, my ideas are flat, or I've always wanted to have something that we could set up as a series like Star Wars, like, you know, or I've always wanted to have a concept where because Disney they're masterful at merchandising, you know, so they've been, you know, buying things and acquiring, combining, you know, a lot of different entities. So they're researching what are the available ones, and is that a good match for us? Is that a good match for you as a business owner who's considering selling or buying? So, and then if you want to buy a business, did you know that there are actual people out there who are business brokers who will help you find a business to buy and help you find a business to sell? And as a registered investment advisor, my task often is to just help you value what your business is worth. So as an entrepreneurship member, we do a lot of financial planning and looking at the balance sheet and the financials of your company. And then we're able to set up a value for your business so that you know what is a good price for you to consider when considering selling your business to someone who may want to buy your business. And if you have a business that you want to buy, make sure you let them know. I said, I have often wanted to buy an insurance agency. And I approached one owner of an insurance agency and I said, have you ever thought about, combining or let's do some insurance work together? And the brother was insulted. So it's time for us to open our mind to all the opportunities that we have out there to grow together. Because I was open to that idea, but obviously he was not. He did not see the income potential that it had in there for him and me. But we have to be open-minded, and you have to also be mindful that everybody is not going to be interested, and some people are actually be insulted. They don't see it as George Lucas sees it, as an opportunity to grow. I've noticed that another person, this man, he was getting older and he was exposed to a lot of risk by really working and sending his business through businesses that he didn't know. And I said, we really need to talk. You need to get together because I can help you continue to have income when you get to this point where you don't want to work anymore. And, he had been in financial services ahead of me. And then he said, well, I'll get back to you. I'm talking to some other people. During that time, he had a stroke. They started holding on to his income. Wasn't making any money. He said, JB, I should have talked to you. He called and let me know what happened. So I learned a lot from that we always have to have a succession plan in place, because that there are so few of us as Black business owners in business. We do need to learn to work together, support each other, communicate better. And I love that about Afro economics. We just had our first awards celebration. And, it was just so good to see us meeting each other, people that work in corporate America, getting opportunities to meet Black entrepreneurs that can help them take care of things in different aspects of their life that they had never met before. But that's very important for us to just get to know, each other. And if you're a business owner, it's important to know other business owners in your field. And it may mean going outside of where you are. Like for me, advisors in Washington, D.C. might be more open to communicating and working with me than ones that might be in Virginia and might be ones in New York. So you just have to be open to making sure you're partnering with people that you can help and can help you and want to help and want to grow together, that have a like mind and a commitment to excellence in your chosen field. So then when you decide that you want to purchase a business, there comes the challenge of funding, right? How do you purchase the building? Well, as you noticed from the story I told you, Disney has money, lots of money. They did not give Lucas money. They gave them shares of their company. So there's a lot of creative ways for you to do the deal that you got to do, so that so the person who was selling out their company got shares of the new company that was taking over their company, and they were able to sell the shares that they were just received, or they can hold on to them. Because if their company continues to prosper, the new company, they still win because they have the ownership. Did you see that deal the other day about Oprah and the OWN network? Now, she gave up a lot of her ownership. Basically, Oprah is not the owner of her network anymore. That the Discovery Channel now owns 75%. So now she works for them. So things are changing all the time, but we have to understand how these things are going on. What's going on? Who owns what? We got to look at it. But it's hard, but that's what I'm here for, to bring that information to you so that we know what's going on. So there's a lot. If you're interested in acquiring other businesses, you need to make sure that the business that you're acquiring is very healthy, that you're not acquiring a problem, that you're not acquiring a company that has tax liabilities or something that will become your problem for that, or any liens that are attached to the company. Whatever it is, the company needs to be fully investigated, and that's where your financial support, legal support, everything will come together. Having those contracts right, that if there's something that pops up and you didn't know about it, how to make sure that you're protected during those situations, everything. How much they're going to help you in the transition, or if they're not going to help you in the transition. What the approximate stock price is, and on what particular day the stock exchange might be between the two entities, everything. But I just wanted to make sure that we just talked about the possibility of you buying other businesses in your field or in another field that you've always wanted to be in. It is possible. It is possible. You can even acquire a business, and from the owner who might be agreeable to setting up a payment plan that you will pay them a certain amount of money. Of course, it's under contract over the next 5 or 10 years, because they might want to retire. They might say, I'll stay on with this salary, and I'll stay on with this particular amount that will be for the purchase of the business that they're selling. So it's time to check it out. If these types of things are interesting to you, and you are in business and you think that these things can help, don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know, what's on your mind, what your interests are, what you've always wanted to do. I just really appreciate this broad participation in the webinar on such a seemingly complex issue of mergers and acquisitions. But the bottom line is, I want you to know that Disney was able to purchase Star Wars without spending a dime. If you really think about it, they gave them 40 million shares. They didn't have to spend any money. They gave them ownership. They gave them something real. So let's continue to realize there are options all the time. There's ways to move forward. There's ways to do things that we have yet to fully explore. Anything is possible as long as we work together and make a commitment to Afroeconomic excellence. I want to do a shout out to Kirkland Dorsey, who was the winner of the 2018 Sankofa Afroeconomics Award. Don Tice, who was the leader of our Today's Black Man and His Money Summit. Don Tice, also 2018 Afro Economics Sankofa Award. The trophy was lovely, straight out of Ghana. But want to give a shout out to those strong Black brothers who have definitely been integral in the message of Afro economics. Thank you, and I thank God for you both and your families. I thank you. Thanks, everybody. That is the Afro economics discussion for today. This was Let's Talk Business. I am J.D. Bryan, the Chief Investment Officer and President of J.D. Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and New York. Don't hesitate to contact me, jb@jdbryan.com, jb@afroeconomics.com. This is J.B. Bryan, signing off. Have a great week. Happy holidays. And don't forget to check out the Kwanzaa show I'm going to do right after Christmas, that Wednesday after Christmas. And this Wednesday, let's talk. It'll be Afro Economics Live and members only meeting on Friday. God bless y'all.